В предишния епизод на Камифуда не се наложи да размятам огнени топки или да участвам в каквито и да било мачове, но се срещнах с различни представители на университета Гломрод, всеки по-странен от предишния. В крайна сметка вложих и малкото, което имам, в няколко нови карти от сергията на магазинера, за когото не ми се иска да си припомням без излишна нужда. Сега се чувствам по-подготвен за следващия матч на Камифуда. Продължаваме към клуба по Камифуда. Време. Нека видим какво ме очаква тук. I head to the club room before the day completely slips away from me. Like yesterday, the halls are eerily quiet. In the past, I always considered myself someone who enjoyed a bit of self-imposed isolation. But there is something about this place that drudges fear when walking alone among the silence and the stone. I make a mental note to ask one of the club members how busy Glomrod is during the year. Given the size of the campus, I would assume at least 1,000 students, if not more. Though the thought of 1,000 pack-sworn seemingly in similar situation to myself, mucking about their lives is a disheartening one, to say the least. Outside the club room, a tall, well-built man speaks with Evie. Like the rest of us, he is dressed like a student, though clearly a bit older than Evie or I. We are glad to have you, Evie. It's been a while since someone has taken an interest in the lore encompassing aspects of Kamifuda. At least here in the club. I think you bring something really great to our dynamic. He brushes a thumb over his right ear. Sorry, Evie. I think I'm having trouble hearing today. What did you just say? Instead of elaborating, her eyes glue themselves to the floor. Until she notices me and points over Trent's shoulder. Wild guess, you're Tarot. Guilty, Trent, I presume. That's right. I'm president of the Kamifuda Club. I apologize, I couldn't be here yesterday to welcome you. I was on the other side of the campus. On business, I guess you could say. But that's not important now. First, I want you to know that I spoke with Ihram and I understand a bit of your situation. Really? Would you mind explaining it to me, because honestly, I'm mostly walking blind here. Well, I can certainly try. But first, we have a bit of a problem. We are currently locked out of the club room. Locked out? Yes, my fault. I forgot I lent my key to Lun, since he volunteered for cleaning duty. I'm wondering if you and Evie could go... and grab him. I scratch my head. I don't mind, but can't you, I don't know, use some kind of spell to open the door? Trent fidgets a bit. Here it comes. I may or may not have placed a warding spell in the on the club room, which may or may not turn anyone who tries to open the door via force into a raccoon. A raccoon? Why? Because they're nature's little bandits. Anyway, it's probably safer if we use the key. I let out an audible sigh. So, a club where people throw volatile and deadly spells at one another. And also his door that turns folks into raccoons. This school is absolutely bonkers. You all know that, right? Really? I feel like it's actually gotten quite tame over the last few years. Ignoring that. Well, what do you say, Evie? Shall we go loon hunting? I'll take that as yes. I saw him about half an hour ago, near the faculty offices. Maybe he went to speak with Professor Ihram. I'll start in that direction anyway. Wander aimlessly until we find him? Got it. Whatever works for you. Evie and I head out shortly after. I ask her to lead the way. Quiet or not, she knows the campus much better than I. In fact, we make our way to the faculty offices in about 6 minutes rather than the 10 to 15 it usually takes me. I sneak a glance at Ihram's guiding firefly jar, still tied to my belt. Have you been taking me on the scenic road this whole time? Still, after another 10 minutes of exploring every nook and cranny of the faculty offices corridors, without a single loon in sight, I start to worry we won't be finding him anytime soon. Hey, Evie. Is there anywhere else around here he might have gone? This is the edge of the South Campus. The only thing past here is the Forbidden Wing. Suppose Loon is daring? You think he might have headed in that direction? She shakes her head. That part of the school is sealed off with magic. Once you eliminate the impossible, whatever remains, however improbable, must be the truth. You've read Sherlock Holmes? I watched the movie version. Though I do like to read quite a bit. This time I don't even try to decipher the words. In any case, we might as well check. Worst case scenario, we don't see him and we head back to Trent. Okay. Not far from my first steps in this strange stone wonderland, there waits a narrow hole. The corridor must be at least 100 feet in length, and so narrow that Evie and I must shimmy through the other side. Like so of Glomrod, it is poorly lit. Though through the other side, a slight blue ambience blooms brighter than anywhere else in the school. Evie leads me through, albeit a bit nervously. The corridor exits into a small, secluded chamber, circular in architecture. Directly opposite to the entry corridor, an arc-like opening features two granite doors, at least 15 feet in height. The doors are open though just a crack, maybe 3 feet in diameter. Enough for someone to comfortably walk through. The space further in is dark, blacker than black, and on the ground before it, a glass material glitters in the gloam. 1,000 shards of varying size and color are scattered around the door. They exude an ever so gentle fog of silver vine blue. That can't be. Let me guess, the sealed off corridor is now unsealed. Evie ignores me. She rushes to the door. The strange shards crunch under her feet, and as we approach, I realize that there is a slight chill in the air. I wrote a paper on Ainfel's words last year. This was one of her 5 perpetuums, one made to last in perpetuity. Ainfel? Shara Ainfel. She was a member of the Pale Host over 3 centuries ago. and arguably the most powerful pact sworn in recorded history. It is said she became so infused with the energies of the Eldritch that the final 2 years of her life she did not move from a small rocking chair quartered away in her study. Her servants reported she did not eat and did not sleep. She only stared unblinkingly in her ceiling, which years earlier she commissioned to be painted as a replica of the constellations viewable from her childhood home. She didn't move for 2 years? How is that even possible? What of the bed sores? And bedpans for that matter. Evie shook her head. I don't know, but there are interesting accounts from her serving staff regarding her final words. There are also many contradictions, unfortunately, but the one common theme is that when Ainfel finally snapped out of her trance, she claimed to have seen the next world to come. Shara Ainfel died an hour later. The next world to come? I never like mystifying or the miraculous. Not those mysteries don't have their merits, but I prefer a quick and veritable truth to one seemingly unearnable. As for the miraculous soothsayers and lunatics heralding tall tales, when I was a kid I wanted to be an astronaut. Every Wednesday afternoon I snuck away to the local library and read books on the wonders of the cosmos. And they were wonderful, not miraculous. I was sure there was a logic to universe, physical laws. That of course was before a horde of cloaked strangers descended upon my audition at Oid's Hall, and then proceeded to incapacitate me with some causal lightning to the face. When I awoke in the Pale Gardens, a light devoid prison manned by Eldritch practitioners, I was quite perturbed, to say the least. I said quite a lot of offensive things to my capturers, called them crazy, cultists and fools. That was of course before I learned my humble audition at Oid's Halls had been repeatedly transpiring for about 2 months, rather than 20 minutes. And suddenly all the logic of in the cosmos went out the fucking window. So the most powerful pact sworn in history made the word that had this door sealed off? Yes, supposedly, though she was very young when she created the 5 perpetuums. They are said to each harbor secrets even the Pale Host considered too dangerous to archive. Well, there's 2 big things to take away from this show. What are those? First, either Ainfel's seals weren't all that they were cracked up to be, or whoever thought this door is way above our pay grade, so to speak. Second, you are very talkative when it comes to dead Eldritch historical figures, Evie. What? I don't. I flash her a smile just before stepping over the littered field of crystals. I prod the stone archway with one of my index fingers. It is starkly frigid, and as I lean my head into the darkness within, I am able to see my breath in front of my face. The surface of the stone doors themselves are old and weathered, but a quick brush of my thumb finds a glittering material like that on the floor below. Whatever has shattered was either part of the doors or the magic itself. At least from a novice point of view. Tarot, I don't know if that's a good idea. Really? Because I'm positive that's not a good idea. But then, Trent did send us to find Loon. Who are we to deny our illustrious president? Her squeaks are a bit louder this time, albeit still undecipherable. Haven't heard the tale of the curious cat, have we? The voice, though pleasant in its own right, sends a shiver down my spine. Another student but a breath behind Evie and I. Her expression might as well be carved from Glomroth's very stone. And at once I feel a strange familiar heat rising in my gut. And I'm reminded of my vision in the nexus of the vacuous tree. And the all-consuming fire which burned it away. And something watching me from just over my shoulder, bright and hungry. Something curiosity killed it. In efficient and brutal fashion. This wing is off limits, likely for good reason. Mayhap this kitten harbors a death wish. Before I have a chance to respond, the stoic student waves a hand. Her fingertips crackle with an innumerable shades of fluorescent pinks and amber. The colors settle as little embers, which surround her palm in synchronous orbit. The open chamber slams closed with a thud, nearly crushing me in the process. As the eldritch energy fades from her vessel, small cracks begin to eat away the fingernails. She pays them no mind. Trisella. Evie folds her hands in her lap. She's quick to slouch in the other girl's presence. Evie, I think you'd know better than venturing into this part of the campus. She tries to squeak out a response. I click my tongue. The poor thing looks petrified. That's on me. I convince her to come this way. You are not a student here. I'm new, fresh out the boat in fact. Whether she silently contemplates or takes the moment to examine my person, I'm not sure. But after an uncomfortable 10 seconds or so, she glances at Evie for confirmation of my words. We are new members of the Kamifuda club. Trent, the club president, sent us out this way looking for another member. Head back the way you came. No offense, but shouldn't we inform someone about this? Her blank-faced reply bores a hole through my skull and into the stone doors at my back. And I begin to wonder if after university she might seek employment as a statue. I have already informed Professor Ihram. He is on this way as we speak. You, however, you should not be here, as I've already clearly stated. You are a new student, so I would not expect you to have attained a healthy level of self-preservation as of yet. Be forewarned, these halls are dangerous. If you hope to leave them, I suggest you curb yourself from delving into darker corners of this place. If you are able. I nearly say something on reflex before a light tug on my sleeve catches my thong. Evie pulls me, rather forcefully, back the direction we came. And despite my heart drumming in my ears, I relinquish the will to argue and follow Evie back through the narrow entry. I spare a singular glance back at the silver-haired girl as we near the exit. but from my vantage, she's already gone. When we are more than a minute out of the earshot, I find myself chewing the inside of my cheek, anxious. She was a bit cold. Evie nods. Do you know her? That's Trisewa. She's top ranked academically in this school. I roll my eyes. Of course she is. Well, hopefully I don't have any classes with her. She's also vice president of the Kamifuda club. Why? Upon returning to the club room, we find Trent and Loon happily cackling over a recently finished Kamifuda duel. Upon close inspection, a few strands of Loon's hair still smolder. Hey guys, where have you been? Looking for you. Oh yeah, Trent mentioned something about that. I think I made it here just a minute or so after you left. The vein on my forehead begins to throb. I realize a school of Eldritch Arts doesn't exactly vibe with my cell phones. But you'd think they would have come up with a magical equivalent by now. You know, to at least save on walking time. Loon, why don't you show Evie a trick or two? I need to speak with Tarot in private. It's a date. Huh? Trent pulls me into the adjacent room where I dueled Evie just the other day. He closes the door behind us. His expression is noticeably sullen. What's this about? You surviving this coup. Which, in your case, just means surviving. Alright, I'm listening. I understand you were packless until a few weeks ago. I also understand the Pale Hosts have given you a rather short probationary period. That's right, though honestly Ihram was pretty vague about it all. Trent snaps his fingers and a small meeting table paired with two chairs manifests into the center of the room. I really need to get on learning this whole magic thing. He beckons me to sit, then begins to rifle through a small book bag and pull out pieces of yellowed parchment. There are 6 in all, and each bears a different looking symbol, inked with ornate complexity. Ihram's not great at this kind of stuff though he means well. Ihram's not great at this kind of stuff, although he means well. The reason he didn't tell you more, likely, is because he didn't want to worry you. But the truth is the Pale Host rarely divvy out probations longer than a semester in length. What does that mean exactly? It means if you get to the end of the semester and they are unsatisfied with your progress, you are likely going back to the Pale Gardens. I figured that would be the case, but I thought I'd have longer than a few months. The hosts are a nervous bunch, for a good reason. But if it's any comfort, I know for a fact that you can impress them. How's that? Because 4 years ago I was in your very same position. And hey, look at me now. Although fleeting, his honesty fills me with some semblance of comfort. You are packless then? Most folks attending the university were born packless. Pact-born, those who are born into hereditary pacts, are very rare. It's just that usually those eldritch bastards target kids quite a bit younger than us. Which means like I was, you are a little behind the curve. Worse, the Pale Host thinks you are dangerous. You don't want that. So what do I do? How much do you know about the channeling spells? I'm going to die here, aren't I? That's fine. It's about what I expected. Trent pats my shoulder. He's surprisingly gentle. You came to the right club, kid. The perfect club, in fact. I think it's the reason Ihram referred you to us. Trent pushes the 6 pieces of the parchment toward my side of the table. Go ahead, touch one. I survey my selection. The symbols are all strange and unreadable to me. Yet the longer I stare, the more they feel familiar. I pick the parchment to the far left. Its symbol is inked in purple azure, bearing a certain clockwise flow to its pattern. I pull it towards me, and then touch my hand to the ink. A high, piercing whine screeches from every direction as the symbol erupts in violet miasma. I cover my stinging ears. The moment I remove my touch from the parchment, the screeching stops. Oh, that was awful. Oh boy, your pact master is lending you a lot of juice. We've got our work cut out for us. What are those things? Well, the one you touched is music. He puts a single finger to the same symbol. Instead of violent miasma, the parchment begins to glow mildly. And in place of the screeching and gentle tune, the gentle tune of a piano fills the room. That's incredible. How are you doing that? Self-control. When I first got to Glomrod, one of the professors noticed I was having a difficult time controlling my spells. He's the one who taught me how to make these. When I touched the one imbued to play music, all that came out was sputtering. I had no idea how to push eldritch energy into my spells. It's kind of like I had a car and I couldn't find the gas pedal. You, on the other hand, have the opposite problem. You are like a waterfall, constantly pushing eldritch energy, and what we need is a faucet. The ability to turn it off and on as you need. Why do I have so much? He pauses for more than a few seconds. That's a good question. I wish I could tell you. Truth is, it could be any number of things. Maybe your connection with your pact master is just that much closer than the rest of us. Or maybe your pact master is that much bigger, so to speak. What matters now, though, is teaching you how to control the flow. Get me? I nod. Yes, actually, thank you. So how do I do that? Kamifuda. What? He smiles. What do you think Kamifuda cards are, Tarot? I was told they were trap spells or power, something like that. That's a simple way of looking at it, but yes, that will suffice. Now, what do you think these slips of parchments are? I look over the slips again. The paper itself is mundane, far from the ornate aspects of the Kamifuda cards. Yet, the inscriptions are much more intricate. They are instructions, a shortcut to channeling energy in a certain way. Quick learner, good. That's exactly what they are. Formulate or format your own eldritch energy in a particular way. Kamifuda cards are the opposite. There is already power stored within them, but it is up to the wielder to control it. Which for you, my friend, is just the kind of training you need. You are saying, if I get better at controlling my Kamifuda deck, I'll be able to control my general spellcasting? I wouldn't go that far, but if we want to get the Pale Host off your radar, we are going to need to show them you can put the brakes on that nuclear reactor you have churning inside you. Get me? Yeah, I do. I flash a smile. Thank you, Trent. По-скоро, thank you, Trent. Really. These last couple of days, I've been... He holds up a hand. Don't mention it, kid. Just show me what you got. Ай. Точно очаквах. Ето го тестето ми. Мога да си избирам тесте или какво? Окей, да, имам вече... Някой определено е гледал такова... Ghost in the Shell. Няма драма. Show me what you've got. Alright. Любимата ми карта е Energizer. Bulwark Gain to Shield. Let me guess. Your spell school is called is Geomancy. Makes sense. It's a very primal form of magic. Raw power and brute force. Just my style. Holy shit, raw power. Shit! Quake, a favorite of mine. What? Do you think I was going to hold back? Wouldn't be much of a learning experience if I did. Честно казвам, на този етап добре. Тежък ход. Unbreakable. И какво значи Unbreakable сега? There's something about that card. Huh, didn't think you'd notice. Sharp senses, Tarot. When you've held a card for long enough, the bond between you and its magic becomes stronger. In other words, you become more proficient at using it. Unfortunately, I don't suspect you'll be able to cultivate that this year. Even if you do all of us 100 times. Seems you learned a spell or two from Evie. You do well to learn from the others as well. Ай. Сега ще ме изтърбуши. Минус 4 енергия. Good fight, but I think I've got you now. Huh, don't be so sure. Gain 2 shieldings с този ритуал. Ама аз имах едно енергия. Тъпотия, яко. Опонента губи 3 енергия. Draw one spell. Okay. Even capped by the cards, your spells burst with power. Astonishing. Then why, what am I about to fall over? Then why am I about to fall over? По-скоро каза той. I never said I was a pushover. Явно тази стратегия няма да подейства с Енерджайзера, макар че той може да се принуди в някой момент да го нападне. Не е добре. Да, съм на минус 9, вече минус 11. Това не помага. Defeat. The final card lands. I fall to the ground, breathless and beaten. Defeated. But my heart rate doesn't settle. It rises, thrilling like the drums of war. My head feels light, and I am above my body, watching a thin wreck collapse on the cold stone. Another failure for my life's chaos. Ihram's words haunt me. He has plucked me from a noose at the sole direction that I prove deservedness of my very breath. What a fool he was. I can't do this. I can't do anything. They will take me back to the dark little cell to rot. And it will have been earned. And then come the tears. The gasping, a desperation for air. Because I cannot go back there. And at once I feel it exactly where is exactly where I belong. And I beg for anything else. Until I am wrapped in a scornful heat like a cocoon, blinded in chromatic flames. Alone. In a void larger than the universe itself. And I blink. What was I doing again? I stand before my opponent as they draw their first card.